Hi, Sustainable Parents. Flora McCormick here, founder and lead mentor at Sustainable Parenting with my mommy. This is my amazing mom with over 55 years of experience working with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Between first being the oldest in a family of four, basically doing a lot to help raise your
Yeah.
brothers. Then you went on to be
Preschool teacher.
and in your college while you're getting your degree for teaching,
Yeah.
taught at a kind of Head Start.
Head Start pilot program.
Yeah, where it was like being piloted by PBS Kids.
Yeah.
And then on to being a single mom of three kids from when I was 1 and my brother was 4, my sister was 3. And while being a single mama, she was teaching kindergarten for 15 years. Holy cow, this woman, she's amazing. And folks are already saying hi. So we want your questions. What would you love to ask of this amazing wealth of experience of all of those years as an educator, single mama, busy working woman, soccer coach, Girl Scout leader, summer camp leader, church mentor? The list goes on and on and on. I have so much respect and admiration for my mom, and I wanted to share her with you today. So she is I said, I wanted her to share what advice do you have for mamas? What do you wish moms knew?
Okay, so here's some thoughts that I have for you guys. Be in the present. It goes really fast, and there's a lot of temptation in today's world to think about what's going to be happening in the future, what's going to happen next year, how are they going to do in school or preschool or wherever. Let that go and just really enjoy your child where they are at, whatever grade, whatever age they're at. It's something really special and exciting for them as they're learning to be themselves. And it's fabulous to be able to walk alongside that and just make the most of today as they're learning to be themselves.
Oops, there's you.
Okay. And then another thought that I think is really helpful is affirm your child. Just let them know that whatever they're choosing, if it's safe, whatever they're creating, whether it's a mess or just remember to say things to make them feel that you love them and that you support them, because you're the adult, you're their hero. It's important to a child's image to know that they're doing what you approve of. Okay.
And can I add to that?
Yeah.
I know something you said the last time we talked was, if in that line of affirming them, is if you have anywhere to spend your energy, catch what you want more of.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Try to do. So for me, it was always, yes, you can do that. You can do it this way or that way, not necessarily the way Flora wanted to do it, but the way I wanted to see it go. So she would be doing something as a baby, and I'd say, oh my gosh, that is so good. Let's do it. And then I'd move it gently towards the way that was tolerable for me. So I strongly feel that it's more successful with youth to go with what's positive and what the yes statements are. So for me, it worked. It was, just go with what you want and steer away from what you don't want. So
I love how you said that. And I've seen you do it with our kids, your grandkids now. It's like, oh yeah, what an interesting thing that you wanted to color. And then you take their hand that's wanting to color on something they shouldn't color on and just say, yeah, absolutely, let's color on the paper. Yes, great idea.
Exactly.
Let's color. And I find that really works well too. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're wanting to throw this. Let's go outside and throw the rocks into the grass or into the pond.
Yes.
Instead of the no's and the don'ts.
Right. You want to hit this? Let's go find a tether ball, or let's go find something soft. Let's find this teddy bear or something. Let's go for that emotion, and then just move it the way you want it to go. So I encourage that for all work with kids.
And can I add something else I remember you said last time was also in that affirming is like, you're very good at catching that thing that a kid has done successfully when you wanted to change the behavior. Like, oh, look at that.
Yes.
You set that table just right. Or
Yeah.
you had got right to the paper when you wanted to draw this time.
And that's part of the being present is
Mm.
instead of being worried about, oh, in 25 minutes I have to go do this, or I need to get dinner ready, is being present with your child, because then you can catch those moments.
Okay, but I have to ask this because I bet people are wondering this. You were a single mom of 3. You came
Yes.
home from working all day with kids, and and there's 3 monkeys running around. How do you do that? How do you stay present? How do you notice that?
So for me, I always had things that they were going to be doing, activities, whether it be art activities or in the garden or helping with cooking. So I had a way to direct the behavior so that they were in a situation where I could observe them and then make the most of what they were doing. So that was kind of my manipulation of those situations. So one of the things I will address, since Flora brought it up, was that they had 3 of them, and at the dinner table, there would always be 2 of them arguing and 1 talking to me. So it was always not a very pleasant experience. And my garden got more weeding done during dinner time than you can possibly imagine. Rather than get into the fight, get into that stop scenario, I would just walk out of the space, let them finish their discussion. When it got quiet, I came back in, worked with the positive, and we moved forward. So for me, it was valuable because everybody learned how to stand up for what was their own rights. There was never the boy is right and the girls are wrong, or the older one's right and the baby is wrong. It never ever that way. They always got to work it out, and I just kind of let them do it. It was hard, but it was much better than getting into the throes of trying to fight it through my way. So
Yeah.
I let them do it their way. So the one last thing I'm just going to say to you is that when you have your 1 and 2 and 3-year-olds and they're just trying to figure out how to make their fingers work or their legs work or their brain work, encourage them to try to do it themselves. It may take 10 minutes longer than you wanted, but if they can say, I did it myself, it's so much more worth it than you tie it really fast or you fix it really fast and you rush out the door and they're feeling, oh man, I'm a failure one more time. So I strongly encourage all groups of adults working with children to encourage kids to try to find a way to solve the problem themselves or to do it themselves. So I think you've seen that a little bit too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I do. I
Yeah.
definitely always felt that way, that I was encouraged, and that, just like you said, like, that builds that struggle muscle, that ability, which then of course carries to so many things in life, to be able to struggle with things in college, struggle through challenges in adulthood.
Right. And you see that as junior high kids are challenging adults and trying to find their own place. But if they have a basic feeling of, I am successful, I can do this, people love me, and I'm going to move in a positive directions toward life, it makes, it's good. It's good. I encourage you to try.
Well, we'd love to take questions. So I know a few people are watching with us live, and go ahead and you're welcome to enter any questions into the comments here for this wealth of wisdom mama and grandma and educator and community member and everything that you are. So go ahead and enter any questions below. Even if you're watching a replay, you can enter them. We have Kathy with us until Sunday, so if questions come in, we can type some answers after the replay or after this recording.
My pleasure.
While we're waiting for questions to come in, I just want to say it's so amazing, like, how mothering lasts your whole lifetime. I was just
Yes.
Is that right?
That it never is over.
Question came in. What would you say when the child's 4-year-old's way of solving the problem is to ask you to help? Is that still helping their struggle muscle because they came up with it, or not because the parent's doing it?
Yeah, no, when they call and when they say, I can't do it, you do it for me. I just say, well, let's see how far you can go, and whether it's just pick up the laces or, do just the first little minute beginning of that activity. Then I say, oh my gosh, that is so fabulous. What would we do next? Or if I was helping, what would I be doing next? And then they would show me, oh, Mom, you're supposed to be doing that. So, oh, great, you did fabulous on that. And so then I would just play it out. But no, I never did it for her or them. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's such a great approach. Is it's not like you're just cold shoulder, like, no, figure it out. But
Yeah.
you're like, well, yeah, show me how could you solve that? I wonder. And I know positive discipline calls that show faith in the child.
Yeah.
That like, I know that you can figure this out. I know
Right.
you've got a plan.
And sometimes for them, the big project is too big. But if you slice it down to, well, just a little tiny piece, just a little piece. I can't set the whole table. Okay, well, how about just can you find the spoons? Can you put the spoon on the table and just slice it back, make it so little tiny pieces. And then at the end of the project, they realize, whoa, I did the whole thing. So it's worth it. But it may take a little longer. Might not be quick as if you were to jump in and help out.
And I was just talking to a family coaching this week about this, is like, they're like, but I don't have time for that. And it's like, but what about the big picture? We have to look at our pace of life of, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
pick you up. You got to be at the door so I can take you right to this next thing. That doesn't leave room for this kind of very important moments to happen.
Yeah, that's why I started with be in the moment, be in the present. When you're with your child, take that time and focus on it. Yeah. You have another
Well,
question?
Shannon Smith, who we know a little bit, says, what tips do you have for maintaining a deeply connected relationship with each child individually and through all the various stages, primarily the challenging ones? Ooh, yes.
So for me, my way of
Lean in
parenting.
this way,
Okay,
little.
for me, my way of parenting was that when child A is taking a nap, or child A is reading a book, or child A is occupied doing something that they want, then I focus my attention on child B, and my attention is not divided. It's individually directed toward that child and whatever they're working on, and then vice versa. Take time so that when child B is doing something, then focus it. And with three of them, I was pretty careful to make sure that every day there was a valuable chunk of time that was just myself and that child doing things together, and myself, that child doing things together. And it was a priority. I have to say, my laundry was not always folded and put away, and my dishes were not always washed and cleaned. And I was exhausted at the end of the day. When the last one fell asleep, I was like 30 seconds behind them. And I had to sacrifice some things in the process. But for me, the focus was to have a strengthening and encouraging relationship with each individual child, that they would be the best that they could be in their world and in their life. So those were tough choices, but and you have to do what is best for you. But my thought, well, in my case, it was more important that my children have self-confidence and were feeling good about themselves than whether my laundry was done or my dishes were washed. So everybody has to choose. And I was a single parent. I didn't have to wrestle with a spouse or anybody else in the house saying blah, blah, blah. I could just take care of it the way I felt that it was important. So I know many of you will have to balance that between the other adults in your household, but that relationship between two different siblings, it's very important that you value all of them evenly, because otherwise they start to get a jealousy thing going on. But if you value each one of them, then they can just think, I am the most important person in the world, and they don't worry about the sibling. And I believe that that's a good way to approach that scenario.
I have a question about that too, though. Is like, I feel like as a single mom, you also help to nurture helpfulness. So it wasn't always mom helping you, mom giving, and that these are 3 cups that only mom could fill. But I feel like you also really orchestrated, like, oh, Timo, go help, your sister needs something, do that, and vice versa. Like, there's the family cup filling between us too. Was that intentional at all, or that's?
No, that was intentional, because when I'm doing one-on-one with child A, then I would assume that child B and C were working together to support each other. So it was always intentional. It wasn't necessarily the older helping the younger, but it was kind of a encourage you to find your own ways that you could help do things. And when kids were frustrated, then I did the same thing with them. I'd say, okay, slow down. Let's just do step one, see how much you can do step two, and then encourage the kids to work together, because you'd be surprised how much a 2-year-old can help a 1-year-old, or a 1-year-old can help a
Right.
newborn.
Yeah.
And
That's what I think I'm wondering is, like, some parents feel like, okay, how do I entertain the 2 and 3-year-old so that I can help this one?
yeah,
And it's like, no, 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 it all goes together, that
yeah,
you would also nurture our sense that we mattered, not just
to
as
each
an
other.
individual, but a community member, a family member. Like,
Yes.
you know what? Hey, Flora, we need your help to set the table. Timo, we need your help to get the spoon out the mac and cheese, or
Right,
right? Like,
and Grace, you get the liquids out of the
that everyone
refrigerator,
had
so
a role
everybody
to
had a part.
feel important. I guess
Yes,
that's it. Is I think some parents think the only way to fill that cup of attention or build that special relationship is like, we do your one thing. Let's like do trains together because this kid loves trains. And no, it doesn't always have to be that. It can be involving them
yeah,
usefully in a
yeah.
meaningful way.
And I think it's
Yeah.
really important as adults. We want to be the center of attention, that we're taking care of the children. But I also
Mhm.
find in all of my work in classrooms and tutoring and every other way, that where the kids can work together and the adult is kind of making sure that it's safe and they have the supplies that they need, it's very valuable for the child to say, wow, we did this, we created that, we accomplished
Gives
this.
them the ownership, the
Yeah, yeah,
self-esteem, the pride. We don't have to be the super mom that does it all. It's
right.
like, no, let them be the super
Yeah,
kid
yeah,
that got to be a part of it.
yeah, yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and I
I
think I think I felt that as a kid, like, "Oh, I'm important, I'm valuable," and I still feel that sense. Like, one of the things that I remember in childhood, and I'm sure it always is like, what do you remember in childhood? I can't wait till my kids are 20 and I can say, "What do you remember for anything?" But I remember you at church once. People were cleaning up or something, and I was just standing there, and you said, "If you don't know what to do, you ask, 'What can I do to help?'" And that's always stayed with me, of that, also to have that personal drive to say
Yeah,
in different, not just my family, not just, but in my community,
yeah,
in my friend groups, what can I do to help?
yes, yes, very
So
important.
carries on.
Any more questions?
Okay, one, that's so good. My mom always brought us along and had us participate in everything. I sometimes struggle to find ways to do that, mainly when I'm tired. But I love how Ryder cares for Asher. I've really empowered him to get what Asher needs, to play with him, wipe up, spit, yeah, be helpful. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised how quickly Azure is gonna start interacting back, and, your
Mhm.
little ones are gonna be contributing to the quality of life of the older ones. So,
I
it'll
love.
be beautiful, you'll love it.
Great questions. Thank you all. One last minute before we're going to go together to pick up my kids. We have one last minute for any final questions. I want to say in front of everyone that you're an amazing mama, an
Aw.
amazing grandma, and I've been so lucky. I nominated my mom when I was 12, I think, for Mom of the Year, because she has been a phenomenal mom always, and I really appreciate her. And again, if you have any questions after this, drop them and we will see if we can type and respond to them. But thank you for your wise wisdom and sharing
You're
today.
welcome. Thank you, everyone. Good luck enjoying your children.